Maybe I should have started a full hour early just in case. Or maybe not. I can fix that. I really must reorganize things. Ah, so there is a waiting member. Well, was. Hello and goodbye, I presume. Greetings, Nexus Hunter. Please do focus on the driving. That is, without a doubt, the priority. 10 minutes till. Well, looks like it might be just you and me, Nexus, going over Metro's SCP files. But if that's the case, so be it. Okay. Rumble is failing me again? Okay, no, it's not failing me. It's just taking its sweet-ass time. I could run out the scare there, my temper is quite short as it is. Greetings in chat, Bishop. "7 minutes till live." Be warned, this is going to be a meta-experimental stream. I'm tinkering with a whole new way to present things. And I really will welcome feedback. Which probably sounds more impressive than it is in practice. Well, you'll see. In about 5 minutes. 2 viewers, 2 likes. That's a 100% approval rating so far. At least that's how I'm choosing to view it. Greetings, Kirsten Shaw. Greetings, K. Shaw. And greetings, K. Shaw. Additionally, thank you for confirming that I am getting feeds from other channels. It is appreciated. Let's go live. Greetings, everyone! That's not right. Hold on. There's been a bit of a problem in the saturation department. Bear with me. Everything's fine. Nothing's wrong at all. But I am, as it happens, very happy I put in that whole difficulty screen. Right! Welcome to the SP Review. I am Director Arc Labs, now properly comfortable and not at all in Technicolor. Although, non-color? Not very important. We're going to go over some very interesting SCPs this time, mostly with the fact that they don't meaningfully exist, at least not on the Foundation Wiki, at least so far as I'm aware. These were created by someone I know and I'm hoping will show up to receive credit properly. I'm not sure how long it'll take to get through, but I think we'll have more than enough time to get through them, with some surprises along the way. We'll be starting with SCP-64738. Meanwhile, I hope you're all doing well. I'm glad you could make it. I was worried for a moment there, you know. But everything seems to be fine at present. As you can see, I am making a point of being visible again. You see, when I rearranged the lab not long ago, I made it almost impossible for me to keep running the show while standing. Like, I couldn't switch between SP files easily, and so on. But I found a solution by taking advantage of modern technology. and I'm hoping it will be appreciated. Well, that is a reasonable thing for it to look like, I suppose. Although, probably not that new. Low budgets. Low budgets. Very low budgets. Like, budgets you can easily bang your head against if you're not looking around carefully. Budgets that low. So, moving on. SCP 64738, which I don't believe can be found on the wiki, but is being presented in a very nice way. Special containment procedures. See, look at that. Isn't that much more immersive? I feel proud of this. I feel like I've been very clever. Which kind of reveals that I've probably been just starving for something to feel clever about. Right. As special containment procedures, SCP-64738 has been observed to pose no immediate threat in any form other than through solid hard surfaces that are flat regardless of angle. Description. Its appearance has been described as a loaf of bread. It, however, does produce anomalies, as was actually discovered on redacted date, and will respond to verbal stimuli of the phrase SYS 64738. When SCP-64738 becomes stimulated, it will produce an image of what appears to be a ready prompt from a computer within the decade of the 1980s. It has yet to be determined what kind of material the image is made out of, but it can be removed by any off-the-shelf surface cleaner. It should be noted that a constant odor of freshly baked bread is often observed. That is the end of SCP-64738, and I would like to note that it is a valiant effort of an SCP file, although a bit short, it's missing some steps here, and it raises a lot of questions, even more questions than SCP usually has. Because, again, I suppose we can chalk this up to an evil bread wizard, but it's more striking. It seems peculiar that the SCP-64738 would respond to the phrase SYS 64738. Does the bread pewter here know that it's an SCP? And knows what number SCP it is? I'm a bit confused on that point. Greetings in chat. Haven the Hat. Glad you could make it. You should know where these come from. In fact, I expect all of you know where this comes from, as these have been posted to the Archives Voluntary Reserve Discord server by what I presume is the creator. Pretty certain, actually. But we can explore why I think that when we get to the end of these. Let's see, when it comes to the bread computer, I would like him to build on this because of the SCPs on display here. This one has a lot of potential, I think. But it should probably respond to different verbal stimuli and have something more to say about it than that it basically spray paints a simulation of a computer screen on a flat surface while smelling a fresh baked bread, which sounds very pleasant, to be fair. Next up we have, let's see, SCP-8675-309. If that number sounds familiar to you, oh, just wait. Special containment procedures. SCP-8675-309 has been determined to pose no immediate threat and can be considered harmless. In its appearance, it would be observed to be nothing more than an old-fashioned antique rotary phone. However, it possesses an odd characteristic of being able to place calls without being connected to a telephone landline network. As observed by Dr. Redacted, SCP-8675-309 can only make outgoing phone calls to the number 867-5309, excluding the area code. Also, these calls can only connect if the other person on the receiving side of the line happens to have the name Jenny. Otherwise, the phone call does not go through. Further research is still being conducted to determine how the phone is able to connect to the telephone landline network. This isn't the only thing the Foundation should be researching on this particular SCP file, which I presume is destined for a J classification. and which would sit pretty well there. But what I want to know is not how it connected to the landline network without a landline. Maybe it's secretly a cell phone. I want to know how it knows the person on the other end is named Jenny, and how this foundation isn't immediately drawing connection to the song "I Saw Your Number on the Wall, 8675309, Jenny, for a good time call." If it wasn't such a pain in the ass to play that song right now, and if I had, I would play it. Also, if I had thought I had to arrange it. Although that's probably for the best I don't, because you'd be surprised exactly how much copyright adultery revolves around the oldies primarily. Moving on. Another likely J entry, we have SCP-41327, which is a number I think might be taken in the Foundation Wiki. I'm not entirely sure about this. Oh, and I do want to stress, should the creator of these SCP files tune in, I may offer some constructive criticism here, but I want to know. These are some of the finest presented SCPs I think I've seen in quite some time, short of maybe the Vulcan's work. So please keep with it. And I'm a fan already. It really helps to have it in this paper format. But I like paper format in general, and I keep a lot of things on paper because paper can't be hacked. Something that I think should be appreciated. Right, moving on. SCP-41327, Object Class Safe. And thus far, I'd like to note that most of these have been marked safe and have been correctly marked as safe, except for maybe the phone, because it seems to know more than it should. Let's see, I mean, while the bread computer would be really cool, I fear I would live the rest of my life in a state of hunger. A bread computer would probably be very bad for anyone's given diet. And you would try to probably sate that craving with bread, which is all carbs, and carbs at that point rapidly become sugar in one's body, at least in my experience, which is why I have to limit my carb intake. And this would not help with that. Right, sorry. SCP-41327 was determined to be a non-hostile entity and does not require any security services. However, any personnel entering the room must adhere to the safety protocol as indicated on the printed sign on the door. Description: SCP-41327 visually appears to be a regular industrial light switch. During initial examinations and regularly monthly checkups in its holding cell and research sector, redacted, SCP-41327 does not respond to non-physical stimuli. However, if light physical force is applied to what appears to be a switch, this will alter the lighting in the room depending on the direction of the switch. If the switch-like part of SCP-41327 is pulled up, the lights in the room will turn on. When switch-like parts of SCP-41327 is pulled down, the lights in the room turn off. Further research concluded by Dr. Funkelness has observed SCP-41327 to have what appears to be a long tentacle that actively reaches for each existing light fixture. These tentacles have the appearance of electrical wiring, as this was visually solidified by an electrical specialist, now redacted. However, electrical specialist Dawkins disputes Dr. Funkelsnuff's claim and claims that he doesn't believe SCP-41327 possessed tentacles, or, well, processed tentacles. I assume possessed was the intention here. But rather that these were actually electrical wires, which were instead directly connected to SCP-41327. As per the required weekly wellness check protocol, SCP-41327 is given a physical examination in which the health status of SCP-41327 appears to be in very good condition. As of redacted date, no medical assistance requirement has been recorded since the initial intake evaluation of SCP-41327. It should also be noted that SCP-41327 does not require any source of nourishment. Finally, as per safety protocol, personnel must be aware of the basic anomaly that SCP-41327 possesses, which is listed on a sign placed on the door. Personnel are encouraged to always have the removable portion of SCP-41327 pushed upwards to have the lights turned on. This is to prevent unintended injuries that can occur, including, but not limited to, walking into walls, tripping, and inappropriate touching. Personnel encouraged to acknowledge the safety protocol before entering the room. Again, I think this might be an SCP-J file, unless, of course, it just hasn't articulated the fact that when this thing is brought into a room, that's the point at which it generates tentacles that adhere to light fixtures in the area. Now, if it did that, even if all it did was turn the lights off and on, that would be sufficiently non-mundane to perhaps warrant containment. Otherwise, I assume this is just a very, 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 very silly SCP Foundation. Next up, oh, I suppose I should announce this. It's not expected anyone here really cares. I don't mean as a slight, I don't really think anyone cares. But there will be no game raffle. I am out of keys. And I would like to thank the winner of the last key for putting it in my hands. That was awfully nice of you. Just tinkering with it still. Somehow I'm always a bit timid about streaming games. I overthink it too much. I'm concerned with how you, the viewer, are taking it. If I'm being entertaining enough, is there too much dead air? How long should I let it run for? No one really has answers for these questions, least of all me, and that's why it's going to take some work before I do that habitually. Plus, I don't think there is that much demand for additional game streaming these days. But that could just be my pessimism bleeding through. Right! Which I try to avoid, by the way. I am an optimist, or was. Still mostly optimistic. Should be, really. Things are nosing up, after all. SCP-343343. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-343343 does not require any redirection from any authorized personnel and does not need any containment procedures mandated. However, SCP-343343 does require visual stimulation via a website known as YouTube, and specifically requires the content of a creator known as Director Redacted to be played. Director Redacted's channel consists of reviews of government politics, plays an electronic video entertainment game known as Phasmophobia, and reads and displays classified leaked documents from restricted SCP facilities, which is in violation of SCP Confidentiality Protocols, Section 42.7 of Subsection 92, and has been documented in Containment Violations Occurrence Report 461235.32a. Nuh-uh. Description: SCP-343343 is an entity that is restricted to the wall of SCP Facility Sector Redacted, inside Cell Redacted, and is observed as being unable to dislodge. What we'll say. That is one goofy wall. I like it though. It has good taste. I mean in what it likes to watch. I hope no one knows what it actually tastes like. And never does. The appearance of SCP-343343 consists of two large eyeballs measuring 823 meters, both vertically and horizontally, embedded in the wall. The pupils of the eyes measure 0.25 meters, both vertically and horizontally. With the fact there are no indications of an iris, thus each eye consists of one lone pupil. Both pupils do appear to function, as SCP-343343 is able to move its eyes towards any visual instance of interest. As discovered by Dr. Frankfurt, SCP-343343 will display an emotion known as depression, which is made evident by a clear liquid running off the eyes. Dr. Frankfurt used the word tear to describe the liquid that exits SCP-343343. These tears were often considered a hazard, as these tears would often flood the facility. Drainage was added to Cell Redacted, which mitigated the flooding issue. As Dr. Frankfurt examined SCP-343343 for physiological evaluation, Dr. Frankfurt found that SCP-343343 does contain a physiological ability known as emotions. As continued research in SCP-343343's emotional ability becomes more documented, it was then found that SCP-343343 was heavily stimulated towards a particular content creator on the YouTube electronic computer website known as Director Redacted. Whoever this guy is, he's got better taste in shirts than I do as of late. After this discovery, it was found that SCP-343343 production of liquid known as tears was reduced to rare occurrences. However, an odd occurrence was observed when broadcasting another content creator known as Hassan Piker through a video feed to the monitor inside cell. Redacted SCP-343343 displayed what appeared to be a negative reaction as the eyes developed red veins. When the video feed was turned off, SCP-343343 was no longer displayed a negative reaction. There will be continued research on broadcasting different content creators to observe the different reaction to each content creator. SCP-343343 does not have any other means of receiving stimuli, as it appears SCP-343343 can only see and cannot hear audible sounds, which means that SCP-343343 is just really liking the way these people look, or not. I have a suspicion who wrote this myself, but I will leave it to them to claim credit. But if you're a member of the Arcade Labs Volunteer Reserve Discord server, you can probably solve this mystery for yourself in short order. Not that I suspect anyone watching isn't, that wants to use Discord. It's highly advised for at least one SCP personnel staff to keep SCP-343343 company at least once a day, which helps reduce the production of the tears liquid. Now, I might be a touch partial to this particular SCP file that has been presented to me for reasons that have absolutely nothing to do with Hassan Piker, who really should still be banned from Twitch if Twitch had the slightest pretense of enforcing its arbitrary rules fairly. Big X. Oh, I see I've got a bit of a message on Discord. Stand by. Oh. That was completely unrelated, and I didn't need to interrupt for that reason. Notably, it's been a long time since I played Phasmophobia, and I rather miss it at this point. If only I had the time today, and I don't. It's been a rough week, everyone. A very rough week. Not that I'm going to go into detail and complain about it, because I don't do that. It's not comfortable, and I prefer to only share good news if I must share anything at all. I suppose I'm not really a very sharing person. Except, of course, for this stream and the other stream I do, which I hope to continue with tomorrow, because, oh boy, there's a lot to talk about. But tomorrow is going to be an especially rough day of an especially rough week. Okay. Regarding the eyes in the wall, they're adorable. I'm not just saying that because I think they like me. I do have some questions. One needs to know, I think, how exactly these eyes wound up in a Foundation facility. It does sound like the work of a very confused asshole wizard. It's hard to say. It might be a little bit better if the eyes were embedded in a wall that was found someplace else and the wall wholesale was relocated to the facility to contain it. But it is a perfectly valid SCP. I have read files that are far less sensical. I suppose most unfortunately in this case is that we probably won't see this one on the main SCP wiki because I get the idea that the people in charge have a certain political bent and would not really appreciate anyone speaking ill of terrorist endorser Hassan Piker. Pity though. Still got potential. And that was a really good picture they chose of yours truly, if I may say so. Okay, and that was it for these new SCPs. You know, if these keep coming in, I'd happily do one of these every week. In fact, I'm wondering if I probably should have just reserved these one per episode. I might have rushed things. I can do that sometimes. That said, since the SCP files I have prepared have been done, might I invite you all to make a request? For we've got over half an hour yet. And no game to raffle to soak up some time. I can't just click play on a trailer. I have absolutely no padding arranged. I suppose I could just put up an SCP at random. You know, I would have done this one, but I think it's actually kind of awful. So if anyone has a request, I might prefer to do that. Notably, I am live in the voice chat. If someone would like to pop on and chat for a bit, or if they want to read the SCP file with me, probably they have. But you know. There are really no new names here. I don't think I need to explain much. I'm going to stop explaining things. SCP 8598. Oh. Greetings, Draconath. It's been a while. 8598, you say? Okay. Right. One moment while I get that typed in. Dun, dun, dun. 8598. And, should we get around to it, I'll have the time, 3433. Okay, and we're back. It's about a wrestler. Containment class neutralized. You don't see too many of those on the SCP Wiki these days. Strictly speaking, if it's neutralized, well, it's not in containment, is it? It's just gone. Item 8598, containment class utilized. Special containment procedures, SCP-85... Whoa! 98 is neutralized, no containment procedures are necessary. Description, SCP-8598 is professional wrestler and reality bender Gary Moreno. Huh. I wouldn't expect a reality bender to get this bloodied. Perhaps he was a self-unaware reality bender. SCP-8598 performed between 1966 and 1967, beginning in Japan and ending in the burgeoning Worldwide Wrestling Federation. He gained fame as Jerry Sharpshooter Roulette, a heel outlaw bounty hunter chasing bounties and the World Championship. After a car accident in 1973, SCP-8598's anomalous properties began manifesting. This coincided with the development of major depressive disorder, theorized schizophrenia, alcoholism, and drug addiction. SCP-8598 began living solely as Jerry Sharpshooter Roulette, which included wearing his wrestling gear anytime he was in public, ignoring or lashing out at mentions of his legal name, hunting fugitives as a vigilante, and having professional wrestling matches with members of the public. Persons close to the subject describe this switch as SCP-8598 engrossing himself in kayfabe. In short, SCP-8598's frame of reality was through the character of Jerry Sharpshooter Roulette, and all events within his life would be altered by his reality warping capabilities to ensure that experience. Addendum 8598.1, Early Career and Time in the World Wrestling Federation. SCP-8598 was born in 1948 in El Paso, Texas. At 18, SCP-8598 joined the Dallas Cowboys practice squad, but was released less than a year later after a career-ending knee injury. SCP-8598's trainer recommended they pursue professional wrestling, and he enrolled the same wrestling academy as his childhood friend, Larry Hennig. 8598 wrestled in Japan for the International Wrestling Enterprise promotion under the pseudonym of Jack the Gunslinger Roulette. In kayfabe, SP8598 was promoted as a heel, donning the character of an outlaw bounty hunter chasing the promotion's top championship. Initially, 8598 was placed in a tag team with Larry Hennig, and the pair would win the IWE Tag Team Championship. The team would split in 1969 when SP8598 attacked Hennig in the ring as part of a storyline. Later that year, SP8598 would defeat then-champion Antonio Inoki and win the title. Fascinating. I hope you've been doing well, Draconath, and if anyone else has just popped in and is lurking, please do make a point of saying hi. Unless you really know you shouldn't, then I trust that you've chosen wisely and know best. But if not, feel free to pipe up. I am trying to keep track of all this chat, and at the time, it's fairly manageable. The following is a segment from the testimony of Jim Cornette, a former scriptwriter for the World Wrestling Federation and professional wrestling historian. Cornette. Well, he was before my time, I'll tell you that. Everything I knew about the guy came from Gong magazine, with a big glossy photo done up by Koichi Yoshizawa. And at the time, that was one of the only outlets for Americans to catch what was going on in Japan. But yes, I was aware of the gunslinger, and he had it all. The star power, the aura, whatever you want to call it. You'd see black and white two-fold spread of the guy doing a side headlock, and he could have just jumped out of the page and fucking goozled you just for staring too long. So, he looks like $1 million. He's able to work a goddamn match, and he's getting coverage all the way across the world. He should be a superstar. You're probably thinking, what the fuck's the issue? Problem was, these Japanese fans, they kept fucking cheering for the guy. Back in the day, that was unheard of for a heel. You'd bring a gaijin in to be booed. On heel, it's easy heat. So what do you do when your bad guy's getting cheers like a good guy? You fucking turn him face. Except Yoshihara, the booker, he didn't want that. So they sent him back to the States, got him strapped in with WWF and told Vince Sr. that he was his problem now. After losing the title back to Inoki in 1970, SP8598 signed the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, WWF. The WWF renamed SP8598 to Sharpshooter Jerry Roulette, and his character remained largely unchanged. While the IW booked SP8598 as the top heel, the WWF used SCP-8598 as a stepping stone for babyface wrestlers to overcome before fighting for the championship, leaving him lingering in the mid-card and not reaching for the height he did in the IWE. Another excerpt from Cornette. Things petered out. He got pushes, but they were on and off. And the WWF was running monthly shows. You don't get booked every month. There was no guarantee the crowd would remember you the next go-round. So being a foreigner in front of a Japanese crowd... being a foreigner in front of a Japanese crowd made interaction. Over here, when you're next to guys like Bruno Sammartino and Chief Jay Strongbow, you need to grab one big-ass step stool to stand out. And that fucked with him. Not getting the same type of reactions he did in Japan, not moving up the card. WWF was babyface promotion. Top heels were locked in programs with top faces for months on end. Not a lot of mobility. So there's a lot of downtime for a guy to get shit-faced in every bar in the Northeastern Corridor. SCP-8598's girlfriend, Catherine Hobbs, gave birth to twins in December of 1970. The pair would later marry and have a third child by the end of 1971. SCP-8598 floated around the mid-card of the WWF in 1972 and had an upcoming contract negotiation that September. Again, from Cornette. You have these kids coming in, great shape, good looks, making more money than they thought they'd ever need. They ever would. And they're out meeting these girls, etc., etc. Baby pops out 9 months later, and now they say, fucking shit. Because now this profession where you are fucking around with your buddies and traveling the country has to feed a family. He has this contract negotiation coming up. He wants to stay close to his wife and kids, so he's not shopping around these other territories. And again, he's not a draw. It just so happened at that time one of the shooter's good friends, Ivan Koloff, was a champion. So you have Koloff, his 300-some-odd pound Canadian with a sickle and a hammer tattoo in his arm, pretending to be a Russian. And he's the top heel for about a year at this point. Bruno Sammartino is booked for an opportunity to fight Koloff for the title, but Bruno ends up snapping his fucking femur in half. So now Vince Senior is scrambling for a new all-American apple pie-eating babyface that will defeat the Reds and bring the title back to the old US of A. Well, what do you know? Vince looks around thinking, and he remembers he has a 300-pound cowboy with whom he's done squat. He finally gets his push. No, it's fine, Kishel. The deal is first request made gets read if it hasn't been read before, at which point I do reserve some veto options. But if this takes the rest of the hour, so be it. If it goes over the remaining time, so be it. At least it isn't revolving around cows, milk, and extra normal cheese. Or is otherwise depressing, for that matter. Right, where were we? Following Bruno Sammartino's injury in August 1972, SP-8598 successfully beat Pedro Morales in a contendership match which landed him a chance for the championship. The next week, SCP-8598's contract negotiation occurred and he was re-signed. He was re-signed. Not resigned, re-signed. Paging Foundation editors for $250,000 per year and booked to win the title from Koloff at the next event in November. Cornet. No. We're having a problem with an overactive tablet reaction. This is all cutting-edge experimental for me. Cornet. He gets $250,000 in 1972, and he's booked to be a top champion in the first few months, and he's signed for another 4 years. Now, when he has 4 mouths to feed, the first purchase he makes is an $80,000 racehorse. I can't fathom it. He'd use it in place of a car. He would ride it backstage and slipped in a puddle of its piss. He wasn't allowed to bring it around the arenas anymore after that. He starts riding around the street late at night, saying it helps him get into character. Can't imagine what that'd be like. These were things you dealt with character performers. The real dedicated ones want to make themselves their characters as much as possible, help sell the business. If I went up to Shooter on the street, he'd turn to me and say, "How you doing, bud? Name's Gary." I'd probably never watch again. Things like this were not exactly promoted, but they were accepted, and then, he took it too far. SCP-8598 purchased a racehorse named Alto Soprano after signing his renewed contract. 1 week before his scheduled championship match, SCP-8598 rode his horse down a residential street. At an intersection, SCP-8598 was struck by a vehicle, killing the horse and grievously injuring him. He was subsequently moved out of the title match and replaced by Morales. Addendum 8598.2. Injury and anomalous phenomena. SCP-8598's left femur was shattered to the point that doctors initially thought the leg would have to be amputated. He also suffered a broken collarbone, skull fracture, and major concussion, and fluid buildup in the brain. Luckily, the leg did not have to be amputated, and steel plates were bolted into it instead. Doctors told 8598 that he would likely not be able to wrestle again or even run, and gave him a time frame of about 18 months before he could walk again. The painkiller medication SCP-8598 received as a part of his treatment quickly became an addiction and compounded with his pre-existing alcoholic tendencies. The following is a segment of the testimony of Catherine Moreno, the wife of SCP-8598. He broke him. He really broke him. Really broke him. He used to sit in his wheelchair and stare out the window of our bedroom, mumbling to himself. And the WWF took care of all the medical bills. He probably would have never walked again if they didn't pay for the physical therapy, and he made really good progress, but he reached such a height early in his career, and he spent the rest of his time chasing after it. The fact he got so close to winning the championship at the biggest territory and finally getting that push to the top, and losing it because of some dumb decision, destroyed him. He barely said a word to me in the first 6 months. He would shake his empty bottle of whiskey in my direction when he wanted a new one. And that was the most of our communication. I wasn't in a position to really stop that. He was hurting, and the liquor made him feel a size bit better. I wasn't going to take that away. I wish I did. Unannounced question from an interviewer named Leg. Did he start improving at any point? In a vacuum, he did. He started walking with crutches about 6 months after his injury. He only mumbled to himself still. I kept the kids away as much as I could, and we had the guaranteed money he signed for, so it wasn't like he needed to get back, but he wanted to. Around the 7th month mark is when I noticed he was losing it. I was yelling across the house for him. "Gary!" I said, and then I hear something shatter in our bedroom, so I run up. He's waiting for me, standing straight without any crutches in his full sharpshooter outfit, and asks me, "What's my goddamn name?" I said, "Gary, you're drunk." And he charged over me and he asked that question again. "What's my goddamn name?" I didn't answer. I was scared. He looms over me and through gritted teeth says, "I'm the sharpshooter Jerry Lit." And leaves the house. Was there any abuse? No, he never hit me or even shouted at me on this one time. I don't know what it was, but the character Jerry Roulette became who Gary was. And Jerry was a heel, so he was sweet and loving to me and the kids, but he put on that hat and that coat, and he'd lose that part of him. He had the wherewithal to keep it out of the house. SCP-8598's mental health issues and anomalous capabilities reared their head following the injury. Despite being unable to walk whenever SCP-8598 wore his ring gear, his injuries healed and he returned to a performance-ready state. He made a drunken, unannounced appearance backstage during a WWF event, only to be escorted out in order to remain home until he was fully healed. SCP-8598's reality warping manifested in the world around him, being affected by kayfabe. In the altercations between 8598 and members of the public became official professional wrestling matches. His theme music would play upon him entering any location, and his official records would be updated to reflect the events in his life. Okay, that actually sounds fairly awesome. Look, okay, sure, you might not have read this through, but I'm loving this. Well worth burning the remaining time on. Hennig. He was fucked up. It was sad to see, really sad. I became estranged from him for that reason. Once he showed up at my hotel in full gear like he was ready to wrestle then and there. He was mumbling and slurring his words. I thought he was drunk. I knew the best course of action in dealing with a drunk shooter was to get him cooled down and put him to bed. I had him take his coat and hat off, and I saw the needle marks in his arm. I told him to leave. I wasn't going to deal with that. He kept repeating himself, "Hangman needs his dues. Hangman needs his dues." Real sad shit. I just couldn't deal with it. I had my wife in the room. I couldn't do it. I called Vince Sr. and told him Shooter needs an intervention fast. We organized it, all this stuff, and he shows up in his gear. We tried to sit him down, and I made the mistake of calling him Gary. He picks me up and throws me against the wall, then pins me, and wins our match. He turns to the group, and I'll never forget, says, "God sends traitors to the 12th circle, but the devil sends traitors to me. I have your bounties, and I hate keeping the hangman waiting." In another incident, SCP-8598 approached the 5 would-be robbers attempting to mug an unknown man. The robbers turned their attention to SCP-8598 and pointed their weapons at him. In turn, SCP-8598 began cutting a promo, ending with his catchphrase, "Dead or alive, step in this ring, you'll go home cold." Simultaneously, one of the robbers, John McCleary, had climbed on top of a dumpster and performed a frog splash onto SCP-8598. The other 4 attempted robbers then ambushed SCP-8598. At a certain point, a referee was brought to the street to begin officiating. SCP-8598 would win by hitting 5 body slams on each of the attackers, pinning all 5 in a stack. None of them had any wrestling training or recollection of their matches from when they attacked to being pinned. This needs to be a comic book series. This is hilarious superhero material. Shit right here. Absolutely genius. This file is making me very happy. Greetings in chat, meaning the wild mongoose. The following is a segment from the testimony of Oriel Ivan Koral Ferris, a former wrestler and tag team partner of SB 8598. A gorilla? Yes. How is that possible? There was a police report about shooter trespassing the Philadelphia Zoo. At 3 a.m., he was found in his gear outside the gorilla enclosure, microphone in hand, cutting a promo on them. The next night, 2 zookeepers saw him inside the enclosure, and he walked out uninjured. So from that, you're extrapolating that he wrestled a gorilla. No, my friend, he wrestled a gorilla and won. I just really want to see that. Mind you, I feel bad for the gorilla because if you didn't know, gorillas are really, really chill. And if they lost a wrestling match, they were clearly having a good time and wanted to throw it to make the pink hairless thing feel good. Right. In 1973, WWF doctors deemed SB 8598 healthy enough to compete. During a contract extension negotiated with WWF, SB 8598 threatened to hogtie and drag Vincent J. McMahon behind his horse until the sun charred skin, due to a perceived lowball offer. Despite this, WWF management wrote this off as SB 8598 remaining character, and the contract was signed. SB 8598 was pushed back to the main event scene following his return. After attacking Koloff in an on-screen segment at the Boston Garden, SB 8598 stole his spot in a championship contendership match. During his entrance, SB 8598 was attacked by a knife-wielding fan. Despite the gash slashing the femoral artery and SB 8598 losing enough blood to expire, he continued to the ring. The attendee, 17-year-old Gregory Kaplan, jumped the barricade, climbed to the ring, and began performing multiple wrestling moves on SB 8598. Kaplan was notably overweight and had never had wrestling training, but despite this, the pair went 15 minutes, resulting in SB 8598 victory. SB 8598 received stitches, and the originally planned match was held, resulting in an SB 8598 win. SB 8598 finally won the WWF World Heavyweight Championship in May 1973, becoming the 4th man in company history to hold the title. Addendum 8598.3. Death and Legacy. SCP 8598 was scheduled for a championship match in November against Koloff. As a follow-up to the stolen contendership opportunity, he would fail to make his call time at the arena. Going back to the 50s, every promotion has a call time for any show. If an event starts at 8 p.m., everyone had to be there by 2 p.m. at the latest. You should actually be there by 12 p.m. By 3:30, Shooter didn't show up. So we thought he had bought another horse and was fucking around on it. Who knows? I talked to Vince, and he goes to Jim in the talent relations, and he asked me if I know the hotel he's staying at. I call it. Hello, I'm a wrestler for the WWF, and one of our wrestlers hasn't shown up for the show we're having. Do you know what time he checked out? His name is Jerry Roulette. I knew the last thing he'd do was check in as Gary Moreno, and God damn it. Sir, the lady says back, the police are here. Mr. Roulette is dead. Awful. I couldn't believe it, and I still can't. Just awful. No, I admit I have never beaten a gorilla in chess, and I'm pretty sure none of you have either. Or anyone has, for that matter. But you could probably win one with a wrestling match, provided you were able to communicate with the gorillas officially that it was for show, because they understand play. I'm thinking that's entirely doable. Not wisely done, at all, but doable. SCP-8598 died of a massive heart attack at the age of 32. Oof, that's young. While evidence of painkillers and alcohol were found in his blood, they could not be deemed the main factor in causing the heart attack. A tournament in SCP-8598's name would subsequently be held, and Bruno Sammartino would win, dedicating his championship victory to SCP-8598 in a post-show promo. SCP-8598's hat and boots were brought to the ring by Sammartino, and the championship was laid alongside the gear. Cornet. It was very obvious when a wrestler has problems and they can't perform that. That wasn't the case with the sharpshooter. No one could tell where sharpshooter ended and Gary Moreno started. Things were allowed to slide maybe a bit more than they could with anyone else. I still think about this every day. Someone so dedicated to this business, to their craft, to their art. How does that heart stop beating? He wasn't done. He wasn't even close to done. And he didn't get a chance to finish his story. He had his issues, but it wasn't a drug overdose or alcohol poisoning. His heart just stopped. Maybe he could have beaten those addictions. Maybe he could have come back. Maybe he could have come slide back down reality, and maybe he would have been a great champion, but he never got that chance. And I think about all that potential and how much he contributed in the 5 years he was in the business. And can only imagine what he could have done in the next decade. World Wrestling Entertainment inducted SP8598 into their Hall of Fame in 2012. Larry Hennig delivered the induction speech, a segment of which has been transcribed below. You'll notice I have been calling sharpshooter Gary Moreno, and this is for a damn good reason. Sharpshooter truly, genuinely lived as the outlaw, the cowboy, the bounty hunter, Jerry Roulette. Anytime he was around anyone, public or in the business, he was the sharpshooter, and he expected to be treated as such. I've seen many of the boys backstage meet the true sharpshooter after giving him mistaken, "How are you doing, Gary?" He'd give you your one warning. After that, he'd make you a wanted poster and pin it up in his locker. He was going to get that bounty, dead or alive. Wrestling is stage play. Wrestling is entertainment. Wrestling is scripted. Today we have wrestlers and newsletters and reporters ready to pounce on any talk from the people backstage, and it breaks the magic. It breaks the magic sharpshooter protected for the 7 short years he was in this business. He fought his ass off to make sure that he was the sharpshooter inside and out. And that was his greatest accomplishment, to embody a character so masterfully that he became one with it. Sharpshooter may have passed, but kayfabe lives on! And that's all he would have wanted. Wait a second. Oh, greetings, everyone. Glad you can make it. Wow, we have time left. I wasn't expecting that, but we do have another SP request, so this is convenient. I hope you're doing well, Devil Pup. I'm going to overlook all the messages you just redacted. I assume they were accidental repostings, and this wasn't done just to troll me. Right, I need to pull up Haven's request, so please stand by. Yep, perfectly acceptable. I now better believe you didn't do it intentionally to troll me. 34, 33. Dun-dun-dun. So, how are you? How's the weather? I trust you're feeling well. Isn't it great that some people have been away and now they're back? What about that sports team? They did great, right? I like that sports team, but not that other team. That other team is the bad team, which I, of course, hate. Hey, I don't know what you think about the really cool band, but yeah, I like them too. They're fantastic. Okay, here we go. SCP-3433. Object class? Euclid. Well, I kind of lingered on that previous one. That was nice. You know, I think my only complaint is 30. Well, I think it was like 32. That's awfully young to die. And he didn't seem to appreciate some of the things he had as much as he should have. But it's kind of impressive that he's so committed to his character that he was able to come back from what should have been a career-ending injury. I am wondering if he could have pulled it off without completely subsuming himself in the character of sharpshooter. Also, I kind of want to watch one of those ancient wrestling matches just to see. Well, first off, I'm not entirely certain he was real, but he sounds plausible. The reality bending elements seem easily slipped in there. And all the other absurdity blends it all together. I don't know how we're doing on likes. We've got 9 concurrent viewers and 6 likes from my perspective, which means I no longer have a 100% approval rating. It's 70% now. Okay, 7 likes, 9 viewers. I'm not doing the math on that one. Moving on, SP3433, Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. All artwork paintings related to SP3433 are to be contained in Storage Unit 14, Site 8. Each painting is being encased in a glass container approximately 127 centimeters by 127 by 8 centimeters. Currently, all paintings are on sale on an online site owned by the SP Foundation at www.scpredacted.com and are being constantly purchased and sold in rotation every 3 hours between 20 designated employees through an AI system programmed to purchase and sell items. Constant monitoring of this AI system is required at all times. If this AI system fails, the 20 designated employees will be immediately alerted, with at least 7 employees required to report in. This number may change as new paintings related to SP3433 are discovered. To spredacted.com, manually purchasing and selling paintings until the AI system is recovered. All designated employees involved in this manual labor will be excused from their current jobs until further notice. Description. Thank you. We are now back up to 8 concurrent viewers and 8 likes. 100% approval rating has been restored. Thank you. Description. SCP-3433 is a social phenomenon related to a series of paintings by Andy Warhol from 1968 to 1987, created in The Factory at 33 Union Square West, Manhattan, New York. It is currently unknown how many works related to SP-3433 exist at this time. Currently, 3 paintings related to SP-3433 have been claimed to exist, with each designated as SP-3433 in, but only 2 of these 3 have been confirmed as artwork related to SP-3433. The artwork related to SCP-3433 was distributed across the United States of America through several members of the Warhol Superstars, who were each reportedly gifted an artwork of SCP-3433 by Andy Warhol himself. Following this, the works of SCP-3433 were distributed to various customers and museums. At this time, only one of these Warhol Superstars has been identified and apprehended for further interrogation. Each artwork related to SP-3433 allows the current owner, person, or institution of SP-3433-IN, now classified as SP-3433-IN, to experience an event or phenomenon within the next 24 hours that results in them receiving approximately 14 to 15 days of widespread media attention. During this time, all sources of media, including radio, television, internet, and paper, will turn their focus to the events surrounding SP-3433-IN. Subjects labeled as SP-3433-IN are unaffected by SP-3433. Following the aforementioned 14-15 days, SP-3433-IN experiences a series of events that continue to occur as long as SP-3433-IN maintains ownership over SP-3433-IN. 1. If you should be removed, I understand, Keisho. Have no worries. And I do hope you stay safe. Sandstorm. You know, I've known a lot of people who get cut off from the internet due to storms, but not that many due to sandstorms. Sounds particularly unpleasant. The very idea of it just feels like sand crunching between teeth. Right, back to the SP file. In 1 to 2 days, SP-3433-IN experiences an increasing attachment to SP-3433-IN. This attachment will increase over time, with SP-IN becoming visibly distressed if others take interest in SP-3433-IN. This distress has been seen to evolve into violent outbursts against those who attempt to purchase or remove SP-3433-IN. 2. In 3 to 5 days, all public records written in visual of SCP-343-NN are removed or destroyed in both physical and digital forms through unknown means. Private possessions containing NN's information appear unaffected. In 6 to 10 days, the memories of those who are aware of NN's existence and the events surrounding that person appear to be affected, being unable to recall the events or even basic information on NN, including name, age, gender, etc. 4. 10 to 20 days. All memories involving NN of those aware of SCP-3433-NN's existence and the events surrounding SCP-343-NN have all been either modified or erased. SCP-343-NN's closest relatives and significant other are unable to recognize SCP-3433-NN. New memories of SCP-3433-NN are unable to be created, but new records are able to be produced. 5. In 20-25 days. The ability to notice or visualize SCP-3433-N becomes increasingly difficult for others, taking approximately 7 to 10 minutes for an individual to even acknowledge SCP-3433-NN. SCP-3433-NN has visible difficulty in physically interacting with surroundings and other objects. Data indicates that SCP-3433-NN in this state appears to exhibit traits classified as intangibility. 25 plus days, unconfirmed. At this time, SCP-3433-NN is unable to be located through any means. These effects appear to be permanent, but these effects appear to cease to affect SCP-3433-NN any further when 3433-NN sells or gives SCP-343-N to another owner. If SCP-3433-NN is in an institution, for example a museum, then all employees and personnel related to the institution, as well as the structure itself, are affected by the effects of SCP-3433. Access SCP-3433 files, code Warhol 1-3. I'm concerned. Oh yes. Mostly because it was supposed to show who was possibly in the voice chat with me at the time, to explain Havenhand. I suppose I could be fixing that. Say, Haven, do you want to be dragged into the stream arbitrarily? Let me know. It would be easy to do in theory. But now, it should show the right things. Okay, fine, then. Leave me here to flounder. I'm fine with that. I don't need you. I don't need anyone. Mind you, I'm a bit concerned about... That's not true. Crap sounds terrible. Last I heard you didn't sound that bad. I do hope your recovery is swift, though. Greetings in chat, memes destruction. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. I'm just trying not to click on these red links. Okay, here we go. We have a list of the anomalous artwork pieces ostensibly by Andy Warhol, although I don't find it very plausible because he wasn't actually that good an artist, much less a wizard. SCP-34331, title The Star, discovered October 23rd, 1999, location Tallahassee, Florida. Incident 1, a redacted person's name was in possession of SCP-34331 approximately 36 days and has been apprehended for further questioning. SCP-34331-A, an aspiring actor, claims to have gained nationwide fame after being involved in a sex tape scandal with fellow actor redacted. Both reputations were allegedly ruined by the scandal and other surrounding controversies that arose due to the immediate and widespread media coverage of the events. At this time, no public government record of SCP-34331-A has been able to be found. No public records or witnesses of the events of SCP-34331-A claims to have been found. SCP-34331-A has provided proof of the sex tape itself on SCP-34331-A's video camera Further attempts to copy or share this tape proved unsuccessful due to unknown reasons. So, Andy Warhol was using reality-bending powers to help his buddies escape scandals and possibly legal consequences. Yeah, that sounds in character at least. SCP-34332. Title: Skull 158. Discovered February 15th, 2004. Location: New York City, New York. Isn't 2. Missing redacted name 34332A. Was in possession of SCP-34332 approximately 40 days and had been apprehended for the questioning. SCP-34332A claims to have gained nationwide fame after saving the lives of 5 women who had been kidnapped by redacted after witnessing him kidnap a woman from the streets. At this time, no public government record of SCP-34332A has been able to be found. No public records of witnesses of the events that SCP-34332A claims to have been found. The 5 women SCP-34332A cites in relation to the events of SCP-34332 all deny the events. Despite this, SCP-34332A has provided photographic evidence of the events, all of which the 5 women continue to deny. After apprehending SCP-34332A for 6 days, during which 2A continued to hold ownership over SCP-34332 for approximately 40 days, SCP-34332A was reported missing from containment. At this time, SCP-34332A has been able to be located. If any personnel has any information on the whereabouts of SCP-34332A, report immediately to the SCP Foundation. Oh. Right, just greetings. Well, I already got that taken care of then. SCP-34333. Title: The Shadow. Discovered July 6th, 2010. Location: Pasadena, California. Missing. The redacted Museum of the Arts, SCP-34333A, was reporting possession of SCP-34333, approximately unknown, as indicated by several photographs from redacted. At this time, the incident caused by SCP-3433 in relation to SCP-34333A has been able to be identified due to a lack of witnesses. The existence of 3A was discovered through the recovery of 34333 and photographic evidence indicating SCP-3433-3A's prior existence. At this time, no public or government record of SCP-34333A nor any of its employees has been able to be found. SCP-34331 itself has been unable to be located, with its alleged location being an empty lot, approximately 400,000 square feet, in the city. All identified employees of SCP-34333A are currently missing. Well, that's an erased museum, all right. I wonder if that was intentional or just something the reality bender didn't think through. Two more red links, and we're already over schedule. Interviewed. Warhol Superstar 2. Interviewer, Dr. Redacted. Note, the individual interviewed here is designated as Warhol Superstar 2 in order to correlate between the individual and SCP-34332. To further protect the identities of these individuals, we will be addressed as Mr. Superstar and Mrs. Superstar as requested. A similar procedure will be followed for further apprehended Warhol Superstars. Dr. Redacted. So, Mr. Superstar, you're the original owner of SCP-34333? You mean the Shadow? Yes, that's right. Might I ask, when did SCP-34333 come into your possession exactly? Oh, I suppose Andy gave it to me, maybe 1972, 73? Andy Warhol, is it? That is the artist, if I'm correct? That's right. Are you aware of the alleged effects this painting has on its owners? What? You mean the 15 minutes of fame? I beg your pardon? You know, in the future, everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. The whole thing. After that issue with Valerie around 68, he went on and on about it for a while, kept it up for ages. I don't remember much else, though. I left the factory around 73, and Andy gave me the Shadow just around then. I'm pretty sure he gave Viva one, too. Not sure. Viva? Who else has access to these paintings? Well, as far as I can tell, a couple of other of us got one. Candy had one after 72. Last time I talked to Ultraviolet, maybe around 79, I think she mentioned about a painting. Who knows? There could be more out there. Last time I saw Andy, he just kept going. Ultraviolet, was it? Would you mind explaining what you mean by kept going? Well, he did it, didn't he, Doctor? It worked. I'm sorry. What exactly worked? Oh, 15 minutes. We all got our 15 minutes of fame. After that, we have to move on. You know, you have to make room for everyone else. And he wanted us to help it get started. I had my 15 around 74. God, I can still remember those days. But in the end, I had to move on like the rest. Just like Andy wanted us to. The 15 minutes of fame. No. As I understand the concept, but if you could just explain how the paintings work. I'm sure this can be much more convenient for the both of us. Well, that's all right. I don't expect you to understand. Andy understood this all better than any of us. The way I can explain it is that all of us have a reason to exist, and Andy gave us purpose. You get your 15 minutes, then you have to move on, one way or another. You can't hold on to that fame forever, no matter how precious it is to you. You have to let go, or the world moves on without you. It leaves you behind. The world forgets you. What does this mean? I'm sorry, I don't seem to understand what you mean. Perhaps you can explain to me just exactly how the paintings work? Oh, please, Doctor, don't try to understand Andy. I don't think any of us really did. Just find your 15 minutes with the rest of us, and you'll come to accept it as we all have. Is there any way you could be any clearer? How much clearer can I be, Doctor? Our time is running short. I do hope you get your 15 minutes soon enough, Doctor. But just remember, all you get is 15 minutes. Don't hang on for too long, Doctor. And just what are you implying? Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I'd hate to forget you. I'd hate for everyone to forget such an interesting face. I have a family who loves me. I have colleagues who have stood beside my work for decades. I don't think I would be so easily forgotten. Do you think you're any more special than the rest of them? Are you the only person to have a family? Are you the only person to have peers to work beside them? The all-so-memorable Dr. Redacted. It's people like you that cling on to the 15 minutes, and for good measure. All right. Thank you for cooperation. This has been enlightening, I suppose. This will be all for today. Interviewer rises leave. One last thing. Andy Warhol might have called you a superstar, but to me, you're nothing more than another face in the crowd. Of course I am, Doctor. That's the point. Attention, if anyone has information concerning SCP-3433 related to the following individuals, please report the SCP Foundation immediately. Access SCP-3433 files code Warhol Superstars 1 through 8. Warhol Superstars suspected: Paul Morrissey, William George Linnick, Janet Susan Mary Hoffman, Ingrid von Sieven, Gerard Malanga, Isabel Colin Dufresne, Bridget Berlin, James Slattery. Most being missing or deceased. It is suspected that Warhol gave each of these superstars a similar artwork related to SCP-3433. At least 6 more works related to SCP-3433 are suspected to exist. Well, the general summary of this SCP file is that Andy Warhol is an asshole wizard. Which, yeah, that sounds plausible to me. And that he should be a colossal hypocrite asshole wizard especially makes sense. 15 minutes of fame for you, but not for him. Rules for thee, but not for me. We've seen the like before many times, I'm sure. We are 10 minutes over schedule, but I have gotten all requests in. No. Be gone! And I'm dealing with some experimental equipment with, as you can see, some curious side effects. It's the creator of the initial SCPs I read, which were all custom pieces. Would like to take credit for these, and please do make sure to make a note of it in the comments. I'm going to take a quick moment to see if I missed any chat from other venues, and then I'm about to wrap this up. Where were we? No. Nope. Nope. No. And was there something from Twitter? Okay. Metro is in the X chat. Greetings, Metro. I apologize I did not greet you when you arrived. Technical difficulties. This has been a fun one. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope to be running tomorrow's stream as scheduled. I should be able to. I'm probably going to nap sometime beforehand to pull it off. But I really want to do it because if you've been paying attention, there's been a lot of incredibly silly crap going on this week. All of it that deserves some further commentary, because even with people like Alex Jones and countless other people commenting on what's going on, it's that there's still a lot of meat on them bones. A lot of meat. You might want to make a point to Metro of reviewing this stream where it will be on record. I covered everything that was posted to the Arclabs Volunteer Reserve Discord servers. Okay. Until next time, so long as progress continues, success is inevitable. Ostensibly. There we go.